My wife said, "If you get a paternity test." I replied, "I got it anyway," and walked away calm. Then I ordered the test in silence, started planning my exit, split our finances, and let the results speak for me while her threat slowly turned into something she never expected. Welcome to Reddit Tales. Today's story is about a husband who was told that asking for a paternity test would cost him his family. As you listen, ask yourself where you would have drawn the line. She said, "If you get a paternity test, I'm taking the baby and you'll never see us again." I got the test anyway. The results came back not mine. She called crying, asking if we could meet to work it out. I said, "Didn't you tell me I would never see you again?" Then I hung up. Let me start from the beginning. Emily and I met in college back when we were both living on ramen and part-time jobs. She studied marketing, full of big dreams about climbing the corporate ladder. I was in engineering, already focused on building something stable. From the start, I was all in. She had energy, ambition, and I loved being the steady one beside her. When her parents went through a brutal divorce right after graduation, I became her anchor. I held her through late-night breakdowns, helped untangle family drama, even drove her to therapy when she couldn't face it alone. I turned down a job offer that would have required relocating, just to stay close. At the time, it felt like commitment. Looking back, it was the first place I put myself second without question. We married in a small ceremony. Nothing fancy, just close friends and family. I worked long hours as a project engineer in a mid-sized city, focused on building our future. Emily landed a marketing job, but it was demanding. Late nights, constant stress. I made sure home felt safe. I cooked, handled chores, planned small getaways to help her recharge. When she lost that job due to company cutbacks, I didn't hesitate. I told her to focus on getting certified and finding her next step. I picked up overtime and freelance work so she wouldn't have to worry about money. We talked about starting a family someday, and I believed we were a team. This is where the balance quietly shifted. About 8 months before everything fell apart, Emily grew distant, short answers, snapping over small things. Always on her phone, coming home late from networking events or study groups. When I asked about her day, she brushed me off. At the time, I told myself she was stressed. This was the first red flag I explained away instead of facing. Then she announced she was pregnant. She sat me down, smiling, and told me the news. I was thrilled. I hugged her, started talking about baby names, the spare room, all of it. But something didn't sit right. The timing was off. I had been on a 2-week work trip to a remote site with no cell service right around when conception would have happened. We hadn't been intimate much before that because of her stress, and after the trip, the math didn't work. I tried to ignore it. No one wants to doubt their spouse. But the doubts grew. She mentioned a coworker named Jake more and more, how supportive he was, how they grabbed coffee to brainstorm ideas. I noticed her smiling at texts she hid from me. Once I caught a message on her screen that said, "Can't wait to see you again." At this point, what would you have done? I didn't want drama, I wanted clarity. So one night over dinner, I said it calmly. I told her I was happy about the baby, but the dates didn't line up. I suggested a paternity test, just to clear any doubts so we could move forward as a family. Her reaction was instant. She accused me of not trusting her. Then she laughed, sharp and bitter. She told me if I went through with the test, she was done. She'd take the baby and make sure I never saw them again. She said it with confidence, like she was certain I'd back down. Let's be clear. This wasn't a boundary, it was a threat. I didn't yell. I didn't argue, I just nodded. That night she moved into the guest room and the house went quiet. I sat alone, thinking about everything I had put on hold for us. Opportunities. Time. Energy. And now, even asking for the truth made me the villain. After days of silence, I ordered a non-invasive prenatal paternity test anyway. Discreet. No confrontation. I needed answers. When the results came back, my gut was right. 0% match. It hurt, but it also clarified everything. I packed a bag while she was out and left a note saying we needed to talk about separation. She was already spending more time at her sister's place. I focused on logistics, lawyers, finances, no scenes. When she came home to grab more of her things, she was smug. Told me she'd talk later if I was ready to apologize for doubting her. That's when I showed her the results. She denied them at first, then blamed me, said I was distant, said she felt neglected, then she finally said his name. Jake, the coworker. She said he was exciting, ambitious, not boring like me. She said she deserved more than a safe bet. This is where many people still try to fix things. He didn't. I told her to go. She laughed, told me she was upgrading, that Jake would step up. She reminded me I'd never see the baby anyway since it wasn't mine. Then she left. The silence afterward was heavy. I replayed every sacrifice I'd made, every late night, every compromise, and I realized something uncomfortable. Loyalty doesn't protect you from being replaced. The next few weeks were quiet and deliberate. I hired a lawyer, separated finances, blocked her everywhere, not to punish her but to protect my peace. I accepted the relocation offer I'd once turned down and moved into a smaller apartment. Therapy helped me untangle the self-doubt she left behind. Was I really boring, or was I just reliable? Life slowly got lighter. I didn't seek updates about Emily, but they reached me anyway. Jake didn't stay. He confirmed paternity, then left. Emily lost her job during maternity leave. Friends started distancing themselves once the full story came out. Karma didn't arrive with fireworks. It arrived quietly. About a month after the baby was born, the calls started. Unknown numbers, voicemails, apologies mixed with blame. She said she was struggling, that she missed what we had. Her sister called, accusing me of being cruel. Her mother emailed, telling me to be an adult and talk it out. This is where the power dynamic fully flipped. I didn't respond. I forwarded everything to my lawyer and kept moving forward. The final encounter happened at a mutual friend's baby shower. I almost didn't go, but I did. I brought my new girlfriend, Lisa. Easy, calm, honest. No games. Emily showed up uninvited, worn down, desperate. She cornered me and begged, said she was wrong, said we could fix it, said I was her team. I reminded her of her words. If I got the test, I'd never see them again. I told her we should stick to that. I walked away. She never contacted me again. A few months later, I proposed to Lisa. Quiet life, no chaos, lesson time. Lesson 1, threats are not boundaries. They are control attempts. Lesson 2, wanting the truth is not betrayal. Lying is. Lesson 3, loyalty without respect turns into self-abandonment. Lesson 4, you do not owe closure to someone who weaponized your trust. Lesson 5, walking away calmly is sometimes the strongest response. What would you have done if you were given that ultimatum? And have you ever seen someone use boundaries to hide the truth? Share your thoughts in the comments.